What's going on, YouTube? We're back here with the Glock 26 that we put the night sights on, and that we put the heavy tungsten guide rod in, and also has the subcompact frame plug in there, as you can see. And today we're going to finish up this build, and we're going to install the Apex Tactical Enhancement Trigger. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. So for this project, you will need your Apex Action Enhancement Trigger. You will need a armorer's hammer. You will need a Glock pin push. And a roll of duct tape and or an armorer's block. Whichever. So first things first, let's take off the slide. Alright, there we go. We're going to set the slide to the side. We do not need it. Now for this procedure, you will need to push out 2 pins. You're going to push out your trigger pin right there, and you're going to push out this rear pin right there. So here we go. I say trigger pin. This is the locking block pin. Let me specify. So we're going to push it out. For this rear pin, you probably won't need anything. Just shove it out. And there you go. Set it to the side. And this front one here is just held on by a spring. Shouldn't be terrible to get out, but easy peasy. Alright. There we got it. Now we got that pin out, and you see it's universal on both sides. You can't really mess it up. And the rear pin is universal as well. Nothing to mess up. Then what we're going to do is we're going to slide our action. I say action, but we're going to give our little block here. Hopefully we're going to give her there went that anyway. Ooh, it's really in there. Sorry guys, the camera accidentally stopped recording. Anyways, as you saw, we took our pins out, and then I was pulling up on that. So just kind of push up on your trigger assembly like so. Good God, man. Your trigger block will come, your locking block will come out right here. Then you have your ambidextrous slide lock. Keep on pushing this bad boy up. Push this back up here like so. And you can set your frame here to the side. And you have your Glock stock trigger, trigger bar, yada yada, and all that good stuff. So we'll just set that right there so you can see it. We'll open up our Apex kit here. As you can see, it's nice red anodized. It's nice smooth flat face trigger, and you don't have any of this ridge, which this trigger is better than the Gen 4, but still very uncomfortable to me. So you're going to still retain this. You're going to kind of slide that up and out like so. And you'll discard of that. And then in here we have our little trigger bar and our little connector bar right here from Apex. And anytime that you do any kind of work like this, I always recommend, as you can see from the factory, they have this copper type lubricant on there. Well, we're going to be losing that because we're putting our Apex unit in there. And you just pull this up. As with everything with this Gen 5, it's tighter than normal. Alright. Then you pull that up and out. And you'll slide the Apex variant directly in there. I like to always put just a little bit of lubricant on my connector. Good God, man. That's a lot of lube. Not sure what that was all about. got a little extra there. Put a drop of oil up there. Even that was slightly heavy on the drop, but just kind of smeared around a little. Like so. And now you have your connector bar, your stock one in there, and you can set that like so. And then you're going to take your Glock trigger. And if you have a Gen 4, this is not the same, just as an FYI. I feel the need to stress that because there is a few little differences that I've noticed here. And then you have a little latch right there, and you feed your cross underneath that, and it should look like so. And as you pull your trigger, it slides down this ramp and releases your firing pin, basically. And if you look at it as opposed to the stock, the actual trigger bar itself is identical. And for all I know, I don't know what the difference is with the Apex trigger. Generally, I use a Ghost connector, but they were out of stock of the Evo Elite right now, so I went with this one. As soon as the Evo Elite comes back in, I'll definitely be using the Evo Elite from Ghost. It's awesome. Awesome unit. Then we're going to take our trigger unit and set it back in there. Slide this bad boy right down in there. Get our trigger work down in there. Slide our ambi unit down in there. Slide our locking block down in there. And you'll have your everything in there the way it needs to be, like so. Then you're going to take your pin and just shove it back in there. Shouldn't need a hammer, it's not that hard. And just push that pin back in there. Fairly simple. I like to make sure I have equal amounts coming out. So that's just me and my anal. I don't know, call it my ADD, whatever. And then we're going to slide the pin back through for the locking block. And you kind of have to line up all the holes there with the trigger and such. It's hard to show, but if you're looking through the opposing hole, just make sure it all lines up. And now we got that lined up like so. And push it through. Good God, man. It's almost like butter. And once you get it through, you should be able to push it from both ends. Obviously, I didn't mean to push it that far. And there we have that. Give it a little love tap. And you should feel its seat. Then you can put your slide and everything back on. you'll have a nice smooth action trigger for your new Glock. Quick little video, make it nice, easy, make it a little pretty, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So if you have any questions or comments on the Apex Tactical Enhancement Trigger for your Glock, by all means, please put them in the comments below, and I answer all my comments. I'll just say directly, I don't answer smart comments. There's different ways for everybody. Do whatever works for you. This is the way I do it. To each their own. I'll give you a close-up of that there finished. So now this Glock is ready to run through the paces. It has the Ameriglow iDot sights on there. Tritium sights. We have the tungsten heavy guide rod in there. We have the Apex enhancement trigger, and we have the plug. The only other thing with this